Hello Manchester United fans. Samuel Luckhurst, Man United want to sign, astonishing, Jorge Mendes client. Manchester United are open to signing Sporting winger Giovanni Quenda in the summer transfer window, according to Manchester Evening News journalist Samuel Luckhurst. The Red Devils would reportedly pursue a deal for the promising Portuguese winger even after signing Patrick Dorgu, who plays in a similar position to the 17-year-old. United met with Quenda's agent Jorge Mendes in November to discuss the conditions of a potential move and have been tracking the player since his Sporting debut in August. Ruben Amorim is said to want attack-minded wingers among his options on the flanks, and a move for Quenda remains a possibility after the season. Red Devils eyeing Quenda deal to bolster Ruben Amorim's attacking options. According to Luckhurst, United could make room for Quenda's arrival in the summer by offloading both left-backs Tyrell Malacia and Luke Shaw. Malacia was loaned to PSV Eindhoven earlier this month, with a buy option included in the deal, while Shaw faces an uncertain future at Old Trafford after making just 3 substitute appearances this season. United may reportedly not tolerate another injury-hit season from Shaw and could look to offload him before his contract expires in June 2027. Quenda, praised as astonishing by Roberto Martinez, made his Sporting debut in August and has been a key player for the club since, making 36 appearances in all competitions, scoring 2 goals and providing 7 assists. Man United had a quiet January transfer window, signing young defenders Dorgu and Eindhoven to only bolster Amorim's backline. The Red Devils were restricted financially from pursuing a new forward and have seemingly pushed their plans to the summer, having failed in their bid to sign Mathys Tel, who joined Tottenham on loan. Luke Shaw could be set for an emotional exit from Manchester United in the summer transfer window, with Dean Jones exclusively telling GivenSport that the fullback's lack of minutes will see United potentially become open to offers at the end of the campaign. Shaw hasn't featured much for United this season, and having had injury woes throughout his time in the Northwest, other signings such as Lenny Yoro, Matthijs de Ligt, Noussair Mazraoui and, more importantly, January incoming Patrick Dorgu have forced him down the pecking order in Ruben Amorim's new system, which could see him move on at the end of the campaign if a suitable offer is tabled. Jones told GivenSport in an exclusive report that Shaw's future at Old Trafford is uncertain, following a real lack of game time and the arrival of Dorgu at left-back. Although Shaw has also provided cover at left centre-back for Lisandro Martinez in the months and years gone by, United aren't thought to be putting any long-term expectations on Shaw's future, given the total lack of football that he's featured in over the past 18 months. Man United want to sign real baller, who plays like Rodri and De Bruyne. Manchester United are among the interested clubs in Frankfurt's midfield ace Hugo Larsson, according to fichodges.net. The Red Devils are keen to bolster Ruben Amorim's squad in the summer transfer window after a relatively quiet January for incomings, with Patrick Dorgu and Eindhoven strengthening the defense while Marcus Rashford, Antony, and Tyrell Malacia all left on loan deals. But midfield is set to be the target of a major overhaul during the summer, with Casemiro expected to move on and Christian Eriksen out of contract, and Larsson has now emerged as a target. Man United eyeing move for Larsson. Sweden international is a target for several clubs. Amorim is targeting fresh blood in midfield, and according to fichodges.net, Larsson has now emerged as a target for Man United. The 20-year-old has had a fantastic season at Frankfurt so far this campaign, and has also caught the eye of Premier League rivals Arsenal and Liverpool, making a move to the Premier League this summer highly likely. But Frankfurt aren't keen to let Larsson, who has been described as a real baller, and had his playing style compared to Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne, leave so easily and will likely demand a big fee to let him move on, according to the report. That means that Man United could be prepared to enter into a bidding war in order to make him part of their squad for next season, as they look to add more intensity and athleticism to their side for the manager. Brazilian midfielder Casemiro has barely been used since the Portuguese manager's arrival at Old Trafford, with Amorim admitting that the 5-time Champions League winner no longer has the physical capabilities to carry out his demands. Christian Eriksen is another option in midfield who doesn't have the required legs to uphold the intensity that the manager wants. Both players are now expected to move on in the next transfer window, with Eriksen's contract set to expire and no talks having been held about a potential extension. Casemiro on the other hand has attracted interest from Brazil, Italy and Saudi Arabia about a move, although there have been no formal offers made to the club as things stand. Denis Law funeral updates as Manchester United icon laid to rest. Manchester will pay its respects to Man United icon Denis Law on Tuesday with a procession past Old Trafford before his funeral at Manchester Cathedral. The funeral of Manchester United legend Denis Law takes place at Manchester Cathedral today. Law died at the age of 84 on January 17 and will be laid to rest today. A funeral service will take place at the cathedral this afternoon after the hearse and funeral procession has passed Old Trafford. The hearse is scheduled to arrive at Old Trafford from the Chester Road side at 1:10 p.m. The funeral procession will head down Sir Matt Busby Way and briefly stop by the Holy Trinity statue. The procession will then continue towards the cathedral at 1:20 p.m., leaving Old Trafford from the Hotel Football End, and United supporters are expected to turn out in numbers to pay their respects to one of the club's greatest ever players. Law made 404 appearances during his United career, scoring 237 goals. He joined the club from Italian side Torino in 1962, returning to Manchester after a spell at City earlier in his career. Barada arrives. United Chief Executive Omar Barada has just made his way into Manchester Cathedral to pay his respects to Denis Law. He arrived with other United staff. Sir Kenny Dalglish in attendance. Former Liverpool and Scotland star Sir Kenny Dalglish has arrived at Manchester Cathedral. Famous faces continue to arrive. Eddie Gray, the Leeds United and Scotland great, is among Denis Law's former national team teammates here. One waiting fan has got a Liverpool jacket on and Sir Kenny Dalglish is also expected here. Ruud van Nistelrooy knew the Law family well as Denis's daughter, Dee, was the United press officer in the 2000s. Sir Alex Ferguson was flanked by his old kit man, Albert Morgan. O'Shea and Kidd in attendance. Former United players John O'Shea and Brian Kidd have just arrived at Manchester Cathedral. Ferguson arrives. Back at Manchester Cathedral, Sir Alex Ferguson has just arrived. He was a very close friend of Denis Law's and paid a lovely tribute to him after his death last month. Applause continuous. The applause for Denis Law has been continuous from the supporters who have gathered outside Old Trafford. The legendary United forward will be sorely missed by everyone associated with the club. Applause for Law. The funeral procession is now pulling onto the Old Trafford forecourt to a round of applause from supporters and United staff who have gathered. The hearse will stop at the Holy Trinity statue for a few minutes. Van Nistelrooy and Robson arrive. Former United players Ruud van Nistelrooy and Brian Robson have just arrived at Manchester Cathedral. Man United icon Paul Scholes predicts relegation battle without 5 Ruben Amorim transfers. Manchester United are currently 13th in the Premier League and have won just 4 of the 24 games that Ruben Amorim has been in charge, leaving them in a relegation battle. Manchester United legend Paul Scholes has issued a stark warning to his former club, claiming they could face the unthinkable prospect of Premier League relegation if they don't bolster their squad with at least 5 new signings. The Red Devils are currently languishing in 13th place after 24 matches, on track for their worst ever season in the top flight. They've managed a mere 4 victories since the arrival of Ruben Amorim in November. Despite dipping into the January transfer market amid their ongoing struggles, bringing in wingback Patrick Dorgu from Lecce for an initial £25 million and young central defender Aidan Heaven from Arsenal, the team's form hasn't improved. The latter has only made a single senior appearance in his career. United's woes continued as they suffered their 7th home defeat of the season in a 2-0 loss to Crystal Palace earlier this month. A last-gasp offside goal saw them narrowly avoid embarrassment against Ruud van Nistelrooy's relegation-threatened Leicester City in the FA Cup 4th round on Friday night, setting up a clash with Fulham. Scholes bemoaned the lack of backbone in the current United squad, insisting that a total of 5 players need to be brought in to turn things around. If not, he fears the once unthinkable scenario of relegation to the Championship could become a very real threat in the future, reports the Manchester Evening News. There are a few things that are concerning. There's a lot of stuff Ruben Amorim, needs to do, we all know that, especially in transfer windows, but I don't see a core of players, he expressed during the Overlap fan debate, sponsored by Sky Bet. When you look at teams, you look right down the spine of a team. Liverpool, great goalkeeper, great centre-half, forwards, midfielders, whatever. I don't think United have any of that in any position. I think a new goalkeeper is needed, possibly 2 centre-halves, 2 centre midfield players, and 2 centre-forwards. All right, I'll go for 1 centre midfielder and 1 centre forward, but with a bit of stature, a bit of quality, and really create a spine. When you've got that spine right, then you can add bits to it. That spine, that core, is so important. If they don't get that right this summer, this might sound ridiculous, but the form since this manager is in, they could be looking at relegation. I'm telling you, it's been so bad. United next take on Tottenham on Sunday, and a loss in North London would see Amorim's squad slip to 14th.